You know, the danger of speaking second is the first person always gets to steal most of your most important points. But as they say, plagiarism is an art in China. And so I will try to stay away from what Barbara has already talked about. But I do want to point out that one of the most important things that we are here to do today is not only celebrate Ming Lu's achievements, but also the development here at the University of Pittsburgh of a permanent open source digital archive that will be part of a process that will be unique not only in the United States but in China and across the entire world. Barbara has already alluded to Ming Lu's impressive list of scholarly works, and I'm not going to go into them today. But I do want to also reinforce that outside of his outstanding academic achievements, we also want to keep in mind that Professor Gao witnessed and actually experienced all of the major historical events that took place in modern China. And I think when we look at the materials that he collected through his network of artists, institutes, groups, museums, publishing houses, and other sources of materials. And for over the past 3 to 4 decades, we're able to see through his work and through these materials that he has been collecting over time, really the emergence of modern China. And we as historians, I myself am a historian, have been struggling for many years to find avenues to be able to contextualize that very important development. And I think what most astounded me about Ming Lu and his work is that the visual materials, both visual and written, provides us with a very unique perspective in which we can reapproach how China has emerged and how China sees itself in that process of emergence. And so I think when we look at the materials that we see downstairs, we see this very, very precious moment in time. I myself journeyed to China for the very first time in 1991, shortly after the Avant-Garde exhibition, and spent 3 years there from 91 until 1994. And it was a very, very important time in China's development as it began to pull itself out of the Maoist isolation, some of that self-imposed, some of that a product of the Cold War, and began to slowly but surely reassert itself on the world stage. Today, of course, we see exhibitions of contemporary Chinese art in the Smithsonian, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and at galleries across the world. We read about contemporary Chinese art now being a centerpiece of desire at various auction houses. But when we go back to 1989 and 1991, we see a very different China and a very different form of art. And I think it's far and all too easy for us living here today to forget that minute of struggle. And I think when you have an opportunity like I did recently to read through some of the early materials in Meishu, the magazine that Gao was an editor for, and the first post-Mao journal that emerged and talked about art in a serious fashion, you can really begin to understand the complexities of the struggles that both Gao and his contemporaries faced at that moment in time. And the courage that it took also, I believe, to stand up and proclaim that moment of independence. But of course, that is what artists always strive to help remind us to do in our daily lives. And so for that moment, I am most grateful to Professor Gao and his contemporaries. So let's give him a round of applause for that. Thank you very much.